Welcome to Gone Driving. For this week's video, I have my hands on the 2022 Buick Enclave Sport Touring. We're going to be going with the exterior, the interior, and then going for a quick drive. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, and of course, don't forget to hit the like button. The Enclave is Buick's largest SUV that they offer, with 7 seats in total and a beautiful front end, as well as the overall design language. It's definitely got a presence on the road that's dominating, but the question is, does it compete with 7-seater SUVs like the Ford Explorer, the Kia Telluride, or the Hyundai Palisade? So the tester that I have this week is the Buick Enclave Sport Touring, and there are specific features to that package which we'll see later on, but for now let's go ahead and look at the front. From the front end of the Enclave, we have a pretty gorgeous design. It's definitely my favorite end of the car. We have the chrome inserts here that go into the grille. Looks very nice with this ebony twilight metallic paint that we have. It is a premium paint, so keep that in mind, but it looks very nice. We've also got this black mesh grille and a Buick logo. We've also got our LED daytime running lamps here. So fun fact, the actual headlights and the turning signals are located in the bottom half of the front bumper. So I kind of messed up. The turning signals are on the top, not the bottom. Bit of an interesting or unique design approach by GM, but it is what it is. You've also got your safety panel right here, so all the safety sensors and all that are located there. You've also got another panel here, which is a different color. I'm not sure why GM did that, but I really wish they would change that. But besides that, overall, the front end of the car is very nice. Under the hood of the Enclave, we've got a 3.6-liter V6 VVT engine, and you might be wondering, what does VVT stand for? Well, it's variable valve timing, and basically it improves to deliver the torque at low and medium speeds. With the V6 engine, it produces 310 horsepower and 266 pound-feet of torque, so definitely lots of power in this car, but we'll see later on when we go for a drive. From the side of the Enclave, it's definitely a large vehicle, like I mentioned earlier. It's got a lot of dominating presence, and you really see that from the side. You've also got chrome trims around the windows, as well as chrome on the bottom of the doors, and you've got some chrome around the air vent. That's right, there's an air vent that actually works. Bit of an interesting thing to see on a 7-passenger SUV, but it is there for you. You've also got 20-inch rims. These are specific to the Sport Touring package, which I have in my tester. You've also got some tire walls that are pretty large, and I gotta say that's in part because of ensuring this car is comfortable and isolates a lot of the road noise. And speaking of the road noise and comfortability in this car, all Enclaves do come equipped with a premiumized suspension, and if you do opt in to get the highest trim level Enclave, you get a real-time chassis dampening system, so that is very nice if you want extra comfort and extra road noise isolation. And also under these mirrors, we've got some cameras as part of the HD Surround Vision package, which I highly recommend you do get if you buy this car, because with a large SUV like this, having 360 camera angles all around the car is very important, trust me. You've also got these mirrors with a little turning signal here, and these mirrors do not fold automatically. That's with the top trim. So with these ones, you just fold it with your hand like so. And in terms of locking and unlocking, it's pretty much the same concept in all the other GM cars. You just press this button, it locks, you press it again, and it unlocks. Looking at the Enclave from the back, we've got the same chrome trim that we saw in the front and the sides making its way to the rear. This chrome goes into the taillights. I personally don't like the taillights. I don't like the top half of them. The bottom half is still decent. We'll put a clip of how they look at night in a moment here. You've also got the ST badge as part of the Sport Touring trim level. You've also got an Enclave badge as well as an all-wheel drive badge. So fun fact about the all-wheel drive system in this car, you can turn it off with a push of a button if you wanted to. So then it goes front-wheel drive, and that might be applicable or helpful depending on where you might be. You've also got your rear wiper here. I don't like the placement of it. I do wish that they put it maybe under the spoiler here, or just made it more flush. It doesn't look nice sticking out here. Also, speaking of the rear glass, I know some large SUVs offer the option for you to open just the rear glass, but with the Enclave, you can't do that. To open the rear tailgate, you just press your hand here, or you can slide your foot underneath and you can open it up that way. And then on the bottom here, we've got the slot for a optional tailgate feature. So if you do get that, the Enclave can then tow up to 5,000 pounds. You've also got dual exit exhausts here. The exhausts don't sound that nice, but I'll put a clip of them anyways. And now let's go ahead and look at the trunk. All right, so let's go ahead and open up the tailgate now. So I'm just gonna put my hand here and press the button, opens up automatically. And like I mentioned earlier, you can slide your foot underneath, or you can use your keys to open up the trunk. Pretty decent amount of space here. We've got the third row seating for the 7 passengers in total. In order to flip that or put that down, you just pull this here and push. And the same thing for this one here, and push, giving you lots more space. And now with the exterior of the Enclave out of the way, let's go ahead and check out the interior, because it is quite spacious. All right, so let's check out the interior of the Enclave. Looking at the overall interior of the Enclave, it is a pretty basic, minimalistic interior, but I do like it because it's really well put together and really well thought of. Starting off with the steering wheel here, it's a leather wrap steering wheel with your adaptive cruise controls on the left, as well as some of the controls for your 4-inch gauge cluster screen. So that's the only digital screen you get in the gauge cluster. So your speedometer, your RPM, your fuel, and your oil coolant levels are all analog style. bit outdated, I gotta say, but I think for next year or for next generation of the Enclave, I think GM will probably make it digital. And funnily enough, we've also got paddle shifters on the steering wheel, and I thought that would be for the sport mode of this car, but I was wrong, because the sport mode is only available in the top trim of the Enclave. With this one, the way you use the paddle shifters is that you put your car into low gear, and then you can use the paddle shifters. Bit interesting use of the paddles, but they are there if you want that feeling, but you have to put your car into low gear first. As for the interior color, my tester for the week is optioned out with this gray color leather. I'm not the biggest fan of it. It is leatherette, by the way, not actual leather. But yeah, I think you can get black color with this car, and I would recommend getting the black interior. I'm not a biggest fan of this one. On the left here, we've got our window controls as well as your mirror adjustment. You've got the plastic insert here. Nothing too exciting going on here. On the left, you've also got your parking handbrake, the button for that, and that's about it. And then with the center console area here, we've got a 8-inch diagonal screen here, the Buick infotainment system. Pretty much the same as all the other GM products you see, nothing really special going on about. You've seen my other videos, and that's basically the same thing here. You've got some other buttons on the side of the screen, your auto start stop engine button here, your all-wheel drive button. So like I was mentioning earlier, you can turn the all-wheel drive mode off in this car if you wanted to. You can also turn off your parking sensors as well as your lane keep assist, and that's about it. There's no scroller or any other button to control your screen, so everything is touch screen. But again, the screen is phenomenal. There's no issues with it. It is a little bit outdated, but besides that, there's no other issues. And just underneath the screen, we've got some buttons here to control your volume, rewind, or next track, as well as your home button. I love that GM and Buick still have all buttons, or hard buttons, around the car, especially in the interior. We've got it in our climate control, so you can control your climate through the touch screen here, but you can also control the front climate with these buttons here, and I love that. I love having hard buttons. I do have to say they are positioned in a bit of a awkward area, because sometimes I feel like I have to look and take my eyes away from the road to see which temperature it is and stuff like that. Not the most ergonomic or well thought of, but still we have hard buttons, and I love that. And to control the rear climate, because there's rear climate in this car as well, you have to use the screen. There's no other buttons. And for the center console here, we've got two cup holders. They're not heated or cooled. I know with the top trim you can get massaging and cooling seats, but with this trim you don't have that. You've also got wireless charging pad here, as well as wireless CarPlay and your Android Auto, which is a huge thing. I can't believe some cars don't include that, like the Mazda that I had last week did not have it. You've also got USB-C port and a USB port. This car also comes equipped with the navigation from Buick, but if you're going to have CarPlay, you don't really need to use a navigation system. You've also got your gear shifters. So Buick and GM kind of got rid of the shifters that you see in most cars, and you actually have buttons to control the gears, which is very cool, interesting, and I would say probably luxurious, because it's a lot more premium, I feel like, pressing a button as opposed to moving a lever. And then for the armrest here, we've got a pretty decent amount of space. So you've got a little tray here to put some things on top, but you can take it off, and then you've got more space here. Again, it's not cooled or heated by any means, but there's lots of storage space here, which is very nice. And then we've got our optional sunroof here, very nice, but I do have to say it's a little annoying that you have to close it and open it with this manual little lever here. It's not really screaming premium or luxury. And also in the back, we do have a skylight. The sunroof does not open, but you can have a skylight, and to control the shade for that, you can actually use a button. So they have automatic shades for the back, but not for the front. A little bit of a weird thing, honestly, from GM and Buick, but it is what it is. And now, with the front interior out of the way for the Buick Enclave, let's go ahead and check out the rear seats, because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of space. All right, so we've got the rear interior of the Enclave, and I gotta say these captain's chairs are quite impressive. But before we look at these, let's go ahead and look at the third row seating. And to get to the third row seating, it's a little bit weird how GM and Buick really created or set it up. So with most 7-seater cars, usually the seats in the second row fold all the way. Not with the Buick. For some reason, I don't know why, these don't fold. So what you do is you pull the seats forward all the way, then you fold it only halfway, and then you have to climb your way in. A little weird, I gotta say, a little annoying as well, but you know, it is what it is. Again, third row seating, definitely useful for children. For someone like me, who's a 5'9", 5'8", not the most comfortable, especially with these windows that don't go all the way to the back. But besides that, I think overall it's a pretty comfortable environment. You've also got USB ports on each side of the seat, and that's about it. All right, so now let's go ahead and check out the second row seating. So same way you get out. It's a bit weird. Okay, so let's go ahead and fold the seat back up now. The captain's chairs, and let's go have a seat on them. So I gotta say, the second row seating is a lot nicer. You've got little armrests here. You can also recline the seats a little bit if you wanted to. You've got some seat pouches there. Also a climate control button. So the driver can also control the climate for the rear, but you can also control it from the back here for the rear passengers. You've got a 120-volt plug here, as well as 2 USB plugs. But besides that, a very comfortable environment. I gotta say, it's pretty spacious. All right, so currently behind the wheel of the Buick Enclave, and probably my first impressions of this car have been that it's comfortable. It screams comfort. It can basically put you to sleep while driving, although don't do that. But I gotta say, yeah, it's very focused on comfortable and just the whole ride being very pleasurable. Now, I do have to say one thing, that on paper, it does look pretty impressive that there is a 3.6 liter V6 engine in this. But trust me, it's not quick by any means. We're gonna approach a stoplight here and I'll floor it from there, and you'll see exactly what I mean, because at the end of the day, this car is extremely heavy, it's extremely large. Sure, it's got the all-wheel drive, but by no means is it quick. And we're gonna put in all-wheel drive mode here, just so you see, you know, the launch, quote-unquote, launch of this massive Buick Enclave. All right, so there we go. We're gonna floor it now. And I know that VVT kicks in at lower speeds, you know, to help with the torque. But at the end of the day, this car is by no means a performance car. It's definitely got the comfort, and that's what it's focused on, not the speed or the boost or anything like that. I mean, when you're just driving at, you know, lower speeds, this car just cruises. And I think that's the whole point and premise of the Enclave, is, you know, just getting from point A to point B in the most comfortable fashion and being able to carry as many people as possible. Now, in terms of the overall ride quality and the suspension of this car, I know I mentioned this earlier on in the review. The top of the model trim of the Enclave gets a real-time dampening system, which basically monitors the road on a real-time basis to ensure that the driver and the passenger get the smoothest ride possible. But even in this one, like, it's really, really good. Trust me, you don't really need that extra feature in the top of the line trim if you just want to do some day-to-day driving, because this is just phenomenal. And I mean, the steering feels pretty responsive in this car. It is, again, an all-wheel drive car, but at the end of the day, this is not a performance car. So whenever you're making turns, you're not going to be taking sharp corners. You're not going to be taking any hard corners. So there's really no point of having, you know, very sharp angular steering. Again, it's more so for just cruising and letting the car just sort of flow with the road. In terms of technology in the Buick, it's got a lot of it, so we'll start off with the safety first. You know, it's got all the safety features that GM offers in all their other products and vehicles. So you've got the blind spot assist, the HD surround vision, 360 camera. Trust me, that is very, very, very important in a large car like this. And, you know, things like that really make, you know, driving a car like this easy, because it is a large car at the end of the day. Taking it on road trips, you know, having these convenient features makes a big difference. And speaking of road trips, this also has adaptive cruise control, so this would be great on long drives. I do wish that they would put in some sort of automatic steering or automatic lane assist. I know there's lane keep, which tells you when you're going out of your lane, but it doesn't have automatic steering or anything like that. I know the Kia offered it. You know, offering that as an optional thing might be nice. I know Cadillac has their Super Cruise, so something of that nature in the Buicks and the Chevys would be nice. And on top of the premium ride suspension, the Buick Enclave also comes equipped with a acoustic laminated windshield and glass, which is pretty nice, because, you know, it really shows that Buick is going that extra mile and making sure that the road, or the car, is insulated and isolated from the road, and, you know, the driver and the passengers have a very nice experience. So how does this compete with over a dozen other 7-seater SUVs in the market? Well, I would say it's still going to have a hard time competing with those cars, because cars like the Kia Telluride, they have the 7-seaters, they have all the technology, and they have the premium features. With this car, I think Buick is extremely focused on the comfort, and that's where it does really well, but then it kind of lags behind in, you know, the instrument cluster, the technology in terms of the screen, just the overall feel for the car. You know, I think the performance side of things as well, if you factor all those things in, it's lagging a little bit behind, and that's where, you know, the Telluride, the Palisade, and the Explorers are probably a little bit better. And with that, my review on the 2022 Buick Enclave comes to an end. Let me know in the comments if you buy this car, and of course, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.